Anxiety, that's the only song that the public has heard yet from the new album. But you can already hear that the sound is very different from the previous album and the previous EP. Would you say that?
Yeah, I think so. I honestly, in a way, I feel like it almost sounds more like the EP somewhat, because me and Matt recorded more of it this time. But I don't know, it's kind of like I don't know. I think all the tracks that we recorded with Graham are kind of like really like hi-fi and like pretty punchy and good sounding. And then we did a bunch of like home recording ones that are a little more, that I think sound a little more kind of on the EP side, where they're just a little bit kind of rougher around the edges and not quite as dialed in.
Yeah, because I read somewhere that you guys said that this album, the sound is more optimistic, but the lyrics are a little bit darker.
Yeah, that's pretty true, I think, actually. There's definitely some like some major key stuff a few times on this record, which was territory that we'd never gotten into at all on the other records, really. It was always like, the harmony was always pretty dark, but some of the harmony on this is pretty, I don't know, like nice.
Is there a reason for that?
No, not specifically. It's just kind of how it happened. You know, it's just what we were into at the time. I don't know. I find like writing and recording, you're always kind of just like whatever. Yeah, it's just like whatever you're into right at that moment when you're working on it.
Yeah, because would you say that the new album that's coming out is a reflective album of the period of time you guys had?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd say it was pretty reflective. Like we both kind of, well, and everybody, like we basically just like fully destroyed our personal lives basically for like a year and a bit. You know, so it was like me and Matt both had our relationships end early on in the touring too, like more than a year ago. They were like pretty long term. And so it was definitely like there was like some ups and downs for sure.
Yeah. Could you give an example of a song for you that you maybe wrote that's like really reflective on a new album?
Oh, no, I don't ever write any of the lyrics.
No?
No. So, no, I can't. Yeah, I don't know. And then the riffs aren't really like so much reflective of, like I imagine they're like, I don't know, like I maybe wouldn't have written the same things if the year hadn't have been the way it was, you know, but it's hard to say.
Yeah, because when I look at the track list, like you have the name Anxiety, Zodiac, Memory, Degraded Sense, it sounds all very specific, if you know.
Oh yeah, and it's Matt's just like basically trying to sum up that song in in one word on the as the title.
Yeah.
And that was like a conscious choice of his for titling all the songs. Plus, when we write set lists, there's always like any song that has more than one word usually has some sort of shortened version of that as the, so like when we write set lists, it's all just one word anyways, and so I don't know. It was
a conscious choice.
Yeah, it was kind of like just playing into that a little bit too.
Yeah. And then because there's been a whole thing like about the name and stuff like that, do you guys feel like this is a clean slate?
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah.
Like it definitely doesn't, I don't know if it feels like our second full-length record, Like it does sort of feel like a first record again, which is nice, honestly.
But why? Is that only because of the name change, or?
Well, no. I think we kind of, because of the name change, and we knew going into starting to make the record that was what it was gonna, it was gonna be coming out under a different band name, but we didn't know what it was yet. So it was a pretty, I don't know, I've never been in a situation like that making a record before. I've made plenty of records where we didn't know what the band name was gonna be, but never one where there had been records before, so it was, I don't know, it was definitely a bit of a, I think we probably did some things on there maybe that we wouldn't have done if it was going to be coming out under the same band name. Although, again, I don't know. It's hard to say. Because we did have a lot of those songs before, at least the bare bones parts of them. Yeah, I don't know. Either way, I think it does feel like a fresh start, sort of.
Yeah, because you did say like the sound of this album reminds you a little bit of the sound of the EP, your first EP.
Yeah.
And then, were you afraid that because the first album was very well received, were you afraid to change the sound a little bit again?
Nah.
For your fans, or like?
No, I don't know. I think I get pretty bored with music pretty easily, and so I don't think I would have wanted to do another record like the last record that we did. You know, like I'm happy with that record. You know, I think we did as good a job as we could have done at the time on it. But I definitely think it was like time to do something different.
Yeah.
Especially, and then we played all those songs all year too. It's just like, it's nice to be able to move on a little bit and just try some other things.
Yeah.
And it's nice to, honestly, it's nice. Like, I used to play in a lot of bands. When I was growing up, I'd play in like a bunch of bands all at the same time. And it's nice to, like, now I just play in this band, and it's nice to have it, like, I don't know. I've definitely been in some bands that have gotten stagnant in the writing process, where you're just like, oh, now we're just like writing the same song over and over again. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think we did okay for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with the new single, you guys also dropped a new video for Anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
How involved are you guys when it comes to the videos?
Hardly involved at all. We pretty much just get like, I don't know, we just try to get people that we like to make the videos. So David, who made that video, had made two of our other videos on the first record. So our label, Jaguar, was really bugging us about being in this video, and we were all super resistant to being in the video.
Why?
I don't know. It's just like, I don't want to be in a music video where, where you're just like, I don't know. It sounds stupid to me. But then, so I don't know, they were bugging us about it like crazy, and so we basically compromised, and we were like, okay, if he like, we were going to Weimar, which is this town in British Columbia, like, mm-hmm. in the west of Canada. Like, it's in the middle of nowhere. It has like 200 people in the mountains. So we went there to rehearse because our friend owns this like beautiful guest house. He like renovated an old church into this guest house. So we went out there to jam for a couple weeks, and we just we were like, oh, if you want us to be in the video, then you should just fly David up to there, and then we'll film some stuff. So they did, and I think it turned out okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Not as bad as you expected?
I don't know. I just like, there's just always the video where it's just like like the band's at like a cool pool party or something like that.
Yeah. So do you guys, when it comes to performing your songs, is that something you keep in mind when you're making the music?
Not really. Well, not for this record. This record we sort of made in the studio more, and so there wasn't really a thought to, that was part of the reason we went to Weimar, because there wasn't really as much thought about how we were going to play it necessarily. So we needed to figure out like just what instruments we were even going to bring and how we were going to accomplish any of that. Whereas with our last record, we'd written all those songs before that record was recorded and played them a bunch live. Like, that was basically all the songs we had in our set normally before we recorded that record. So when we went in to do it, it was, it was just like, okay, here's the song, and then we just pretty much did most of those tracks live off the floor. Whereas this record, it was more like we would just record the drums, or have like the rough idea, like a chord progression in the drums, and then just go and kind of see where it went. Like, me and Danny would just like set up guitars and keyboards and just kind of try stuff out, until we kind of were starting to get happy with it.
Yeah. So,
and then often we'd take those and kind of fine tune it a little bit, and then do one more, like record the whole song again somewhere else. We did that with about, I guess maybe with 4 of the songs, we ended up like re-recording them.
Yeah.
Like a full third time, because we had the demo, and then we did one version with Graham, and then another version with Graham.
When it comes to making your music, is it a quick process? Because your last album was released in 2015, and your new album is releasing this year.
No, I don't know. I never thought, I don't think about it as being a quick process, but I guess it is. I don't know. Once you get into it, like, there's not, like, it doesn't really take that long once you have the basic idea. of what you're trying to accomplish, you know, then you can just start trying things. And so I don't know. I guess writing it in the studio, we sort of like, we didn't really have any deadlines for it, but we kind of had like put a deadline on ourselves that we wanted to have it another, in an ideal world, we were trying to make it so that we could release another record like exactly a year later.
Do you guys feel like you need a deadline?
No. Like this is like, I don't know, this is what I love doing. So it was always just like when we have time off from touring, then we'd either, like the two options were to go home or to go into the studio somewhere. And for most of last year, I didn't really, like I had no fixed address.
Yeah.
I just had all my stuff in storage in Calgary. So like anytime we had time off, it's just like, oh, let's just rent a studio in Ontario for 2 weeks and just go there. Yeah. You know, like we could live like that. The barn window where we recorded a bunch of the stuff is like, it has this nice loft and you can live in there. So we just go there and record, or we recorded some stuff at our friend Greg Keeler's place, which was the same kind of situation. Like it was just like a nice farm in Ontario.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We didn't, like I guess it was just quick because we literally had nothing else to do all year.
Yeah. So the new album's already finished. Mm-hmm. Did you guys already started working on new material?
Yeah, we've gone through a few riffs. Like me and Flegel have been sharing some riffs back and forth a little bit. And then I don't know, I've been working on some keyboard stuff just on my own too. Like for the last couple of months I worked on some just recording keyboard music. Yeah. Like synthesizer stuff just for fun. Some of which maybe will make it into whatever the next record is. But I don't know. I feel like this time we'll probably just go somewhere and like get like a longer chunk of time somewhere, like even 2 months.
Yeah. Why?
And go and live somewhere and just try to write and record a full record. Just cause I don't know. I think it'd be a good way to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then one last question.
Yeah.
Matt said, "We've improved as musicians, but not as people." Do you have any idea what he means by that?
Yeah, I think that's probably pretty accurate.
No.
I don't know. I think that kind of sums it up. I'm definitely a better musician. Although, I don't know, maybe I'm a better person now too. That's hard to say.
I want to thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much.